Hello everyone, welcome to this new channel. Today I'm going to be doing my AFC record predictions for 2025 season. And for the first division of this video, we will talk about the AFC East. And the first team we will be discussing is the Buffalo Bills, who I think will finish first place once again. As a Dolphins fan, it pains me to say that, but I know it's true. And while they didn't really add much this offseason besides Joey Bosa and free agency, I know that they re-signed all their players to good contracts that are going to be very, very luxurious in the future and going to help them stay good for a while. So I feel like there's going to be a juggernaut until they lose. I mean, as long as Josh Allen plays, they're going to be first place in this division, and their record will be 12-5. And in second place in the AFC East, I have my Miami Dolphins. I think they're going to have a record of 10-7. Now, before, I know a lot of people are saying that it's not going to be a good season and they're going to fall off, but here's my thing. You still have a talented roster, and the only concern to me is the secondary, which I don't even think is as bad as people make it out to be. We have an amazing safety in Minka Fitzpatrick, who we just acquired from Pittsburgh, and I think Jack Jones is actually a very underrated corner. So is Mike Hilton. It won't be a good secondary, but it won't be to a point where it loses the team games. And I say 10-7 because there's a lot of easy games in that schedule, especially in the beginning stretch, in my opinion. There's a Colts game in there, the Jets, the Patriots. I don't think those are hard games. They play the NFC South this year. They play the Saints. And I don't think Carolina is going to be that good. I'll save that for my NFC video, but I'm going to talk about that. So yeah, I think they're going 10-7 back in the playoffs. And in third place in the AFC East, I have the New England Patriots, who I think are going to be much improved this season. I think Drake May is going to advance a lot from last year. I like their new coaching tree. They have Mike Vrabel leading the way there. I think that's going to have a big impact for them. I like Stephon Diggs being their wideout one, and I think Trevion Henderson's a good running back. They'll be much improved, but I don't think they'll be a playoff team yet. And coming in fourth place in the AFC East, I have the New York Jets. Every single year, they manage to fall on their faces, and after the disaster that was last season, I don't see how Justin Fields will be any different for them than Aaron Rodgers or elevate them to be a better team. I don't like how the team is structured, and I think that the coaching is very overrated, and I don't think it's going to be as good as people expect it to be. I think Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner are still going to have really good seasons. I mean, they're always going to be good players. They could be future Hall of Famers on a team that's just bad every year. That's how I view this team. And the next division I'll be discussing is the AFC West. And in first place in the AFC West, I have the Denver Broncos. I think this team only got better in the offseason. And there's nothing that would indicate to me that they wouldn't improve from last year. Bo Nix was only a rookie, and he led them to the playoffs on his back. They had a great draft. I'm not a huge fan because I don't think they made a ton of additions, but I think that they'll only get better from here. Their players are very developed. The coaching is as good as it was last year. I mean, they still have Sean Payton there. I think this team is going to keep getting better for a few years. I think they're going to be a perennial playoff team from now on. And in second place with a record of 10-7 and back in the playoffs, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I know how this is going to sound because, they win the AFC West every single year, but the Super Bowl fall off when you lose is a real thing. I don't think they'll miss the playoffs, but I do think that they're going to have some regression this year. It happens to most dynasties and great teams. It's just likely for Kansas City now, although people say it every year and that doesn't happen. But I do think this is the year that the Chiefs don't win the AFC West, and they could still win a playoff game or two even, but I don't think they'll win the division, especially with that gauntlet of a schedule they have in the regular season. And in third place, with a record of 9-8, I have the Las Vegas Raiders. I think they're going to be much improved this year. I don't think they'll be a playoff team yet, but I really like their offseason a lot. I think their coaching is much better than it's been in a very long time. I think Pete Carroll is a great coach, but he is on the older side, so they're going to have to get it together quickly. I think Geno Smith's a good quarterback he raises the ceiling of, he raises the floor of most teams that he plays for, but I don't think he'll raise their ceiling to to like more than a playoff team. Like I could see a world where they make the playoffs because of if Ashton Genty is as advertised and he has a rookie season like he's supposed to. I think they could sneak in and be a new playoff team, but I don't see it happening. If I had to guess, I don't think they're going to make it, but maybe they will next year. And in last place in the AFC West, I have the LA Chargers. This will come as a surprise to a lot of you watching probably, but I really did not like this team's offseason, and I don't think they'll be better. Also, the injuries on the offensive line are really going to hurt the team, especially in the run game, which Harbaugh's offense is focused on a lot. And I think the second half of their schedule, the last 4 or 5 weeks, if I'm correct, is very difficult, and I can't see them making a playoff push. I think they'll regress from last year. They're not better. And for the next division, we're talking about the AFC North. In first place, I have the Baltimore Ravens going 13-4, and I believe that this team is only going to get better from last season. And they very well might win the Super Bowl. It's very possible. I really like their offseason. I don't see how they regress. Lamar should have won MVP last season. And the only way they don't make it AFC Championship, Super Bowl, that kind of path, is if major injuries happen or they just choke again like last year, which I don't see happening yet again. So, yeah. In second place in the AFC North, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I think are going to be very mid once again. I think Aaron Rodgers isn't as bad as people made it out that he was last year, but he's not a team elevator, and I think they'll just be just above 500 once again. It's the Mike Tomlin way. In third place in the AFC North, I have the Cincinnati Bengals, who just have not impressed me at all this offseason and have really shown that they're a cheap organization. They won't pay their best defensive player, Trey Hendrickson. He led the league in sacks last year, and they won't pay him, which is just head-scratching. And their defense isn't better, and they literally almost had their first-round rookie hold out the entire year because they wouldn't pay him a contract that everyone else would have paid him. I love the offense of the team. I think Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, it's always fun to watch, but if you have to score 40 points every game and your defense is terrible, you're not going to win more than 9 games. It's just the same thing as last year, but they might be worse because if they trade Trey Hendrickson, then they're going to be even worse. They might go 89. So that's how I feel about that. And in fourth place in the division, I have the Cleveland Browns, who I don't think are going to be as bad as some people think they're going to be. I think they're going to go 5-12, and they'll win a few maybe shocker games in there. Maybe they'll win a couple upsets. But because I like their defense a lot, I think there's so much talent there. Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. That's a really good defense. But it's just the offense still doesn't impress me. I think it's going to be a quarterback carousel the entire year. Sanders will get in there eventually. However he does will make a huge impact because he was supposed to go high in the first round and end up going in the fifth round. If he plays like he was supposed to be, his expectations were supposed to be, then I could see the team being a little bit better than that. I could see them being 7 or maybe 8 wins. That's in a world where he gets in early and he's really good. But most likely they'll win 5 games of Flacco and Pickett playing a lot of the season. And Dylan Gabriel, I don't think that was a good draft pick. I really think they just completely wasted a pick there. And now I will be discussing the AFC South. And in a huge surprise, at first in the AFC South, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I think are going to be much better than expected. And having a healthy Trevor Lawrence with Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter is a team that could shock a lot of people with an electric offense and end up making a huge push for the playoffs. And in second place in this division, I actually have a tie for first place. So the Jaguars and the Texans will both be 10-7, but the Jaguars will get the tiebreaker, so they'll both make the playoffs. Now I think Houston, listen, if they still win 10 games, they're going to be a playoff team, and I think they're good. They have a great defense, could be top 3 and top 5 in the league. But I think their offensive line is so bad that it's going to lose them a couple games that are going to matter, especially maybe against the Jacksonville. Maybe they'll get upset by a division rival. Maybe the Colts get one of their only couple wins against them. I don't see. I could see this team falling off a little and even missing the playoffs, but I don't think it'll happen because of how good the defense is. And in third place, I have the Tennessee Titans going 7-10. I actually think they're going to be way better than they were last year as a team, and I really like Cam Ward. This is coming from someone who is a fan, so I watched all his games last year. I know how talented he is. He could very well take this to an 8 or 9 win team, I think, if the cards fall correctly. But I don't see it happening yet because his receivers, besides Calvin Ridley, are horrendous, and I just don't see how this team can make a playoff push just yet. Maybe in a year or two, but it's not going to happen now. And in last place in the AFC South, I have the Indianapolis Colts. This upcoming season, I think they're going to be absolutely terrible. They won't win more than 4 games. They might be tanking because they're starting Daniel Jones over Anthony Richardson, who at least has some talent. And the final playoff bracket looks as follows. The Ravens will be in first place in the conference. Buffalo will be second. Denver will be third. And the last division winner, fourth place, is Jacksonville. The 3 wildcard teams are the Kansas City Chiefs, the Houston Texans, and the Miami Dolphins. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. It would be very appreciated. And if you want to leave your predictions in the comment section down below, go ahead. See you in the next one.